Welcome to the Family First Retirement Podcast with George Politarhos. For more information, visit betrayowealth.com. Now, let's get to the show.
My name is Mark Owens. How you doing this weekend?
I'm doing well. Good morning, everyone. How you doing?
So how was it? How was Halloween in the Politarhos household?
Great. We had no one come by. I got a lot of candy. It's great.
Best Halloween ever. You know what, George? Actually, that's a great place to start this weekend here on Family First Retirement, because that is what we would call good debt, because you spent the money on the candy. Nobody's going to be eating it, so more for you. So money well spent. We got a call a couple of weeks ago to the show, and we get calls every weekend, and people sometimes feel like they're asking too simplistic of questions, but there are no bad questions. And this gentleman just wanted to know, George, how much debt should I be taking into retirement? Is there a such thing as good debt versus bad debt? What say you?
You know, there's good cholesterol and that bad cholesterol. You go to the doctor, Mark, you know, they give you those two numbers, and they say, well, this is the good cholesterol part of your body, and this is the bad, and you want them to balance out and all that, which I don't understand. Debt's the same thing. There is good debt. There is great debt. You know, if we're not going to move, I think everyone should have a line of credit with their house for those emergency funds, easily accessible if they need it. Bad debt's taking those high credit cards, having that sit there and having to worry about it. But when we meet folks, we're going to talk about that. We have a couple we're working with right now, young couple. They're about 50 years old. They're in North Wilmington, and they're looking to, their house is almost paid off. They've done a great job. They have strong 401ks. The one is a federal employee, has a great TSP. They've done a great job. Everything you want. Their girl's getting ready to go to college. We have the college funds ready, the funds for college set up. But they're looking to go ahead and how to buy a house at Bethany Beach. They have the cash to buy it, but why would I want to take my cash that I could use for emergency funds to pay it? So we're taking on debt for a short amount of time, which is the right thing to do for their situation. That's a good debt. Now, we have people come in, they're getting ready to retire, they're 60 years old and want to buy a 30-year house with a 30-year mortgage that their pension and income doesn't cover. Well, we got a problem. That's not good. But when you work with me and my team here at Betrayo Wealth, we're going to go through that and give you the pros and cons. I can guarantee you one thing. I never use the word guarantee, but I can guarantee you one thing. Good, bad, or indifferent, we're not going to mislead you. We're going to call a spade and give you the facts and help you make the right choice. Call us at 302-330-2166, and let's see how that plan is going to work going forward. Let's look at the ifs. This occurs, what will happen down the road? Is it the right thing for me and my spouse and my family? And let's get the plan in place and get the right strategy lined up for your future.
Talk a little income, George Politarhos. When you spread money across different assets, it's called diversification. Now, it might work well during market volatility until you check under the hood. I want you to hear this clip from Dominic Papalardo with Morningstar, and he says,
investors may build a portfolio. Think of your 401k account, for example. Maybe you own a broad market, the S&P 500 diversified fund. Maybe you also have a growth fund to try and get some upside. One of the index providers I looked at, the top 8 names in their broad market fund were exactly the same as the top 8 names in their growth style index. So investors may be attempting to get diversification by holding funds in different categories, and they're really not, because there's so much overlap from these large names. So even people that think they're trying to minimize that risk may not actually be doing that.
So talk to me about the importance of diversification as a strategy, George.
It's such a major part of your retirement planning and your investment planning. Because when we talk to you, let's think about this for a second. There's 2 stages. There's the wealth accumulation and the wealth preservation. One, you're working, you're putting money in, you're gathering funds, you're building that war chest almost for your retirement. And then we get to retirement, and it's now taking that war chest and making it diversified and spread out to us. When we look at your portfolios, one of the things you have to realize is, just as he just said, and I can't even pronounce his last name, was that a lot of times you try and diversify yourself. I'm using air quotations, but the apples are in everything you have. All the major IBMs in everything you have, GMs in everything you have. A lot of cross confusion. Asset allocation really goes, basic rule of thumb, no more than 5% in any industry, any field. And reallocating every quarter, we look and see, well, X is up to 15, so something's down. We need to move and get back to the proper diversification. You can't have your eggs all in one basket, so you need to have that safety. When you work with us, we're going to break it down very simplistic to make sure you understand where you're going. Now, if you work for AstraZeneca, you work for DuPont, a lot of your retirement is what? In AstraZeneca. in DuPont because of your options. But we need to have a base to help us. When you call me at 302-330-2166, we'll go through that and let you see exactly what you have. And what I've found, Mark, is we have a lot of people that do a lot of research, and that's great. But do you go to the doctor and tell him how to operate on you?
No.
No. Why would you do that? You can do your background check. You can do if I get this knee replacement, this is what I should expect. But the doctor, the specialist, knows how to do it. It's the same thing with retirement planning. You can do all the research you want, but when you come in, you need to listen to the professionals about how to go forward and take their recommendations about moving forward.
Right.
Your 401k is a great instrument. It is. But now the time that we're in that wealth management, that war chest is big, how are we going to make it go? Let us help you make those right choices. 302-330-2166 or go to Patria Wealth, Patria wealth.com to get a no cost, no obligation meeting.
Have you ever found that some people maybe get over diversified?
I don't think that's an accurate statement, Mark. I like the idea of not having everything in one basket. And I think the more that we have spread out in funds, the better we are. Obviously, if we're talking about over diversified and picking single stocks is a different avenue, because a lot of times people go into, as a young man, I used to buy my stocks in my personal account years ago in things I knew and I could touch, i.e. Pep Boys, Bally's Casino, things I could actually see. And that was until I became a little more educated, I guess, and had an opportunity to understand how to get the proper mix. But I don't think it can be over diversified per se.
All right, so I saw this in one of those like financial advice columns. It's popped up. I want to get your take on it, George. Somebody wrote in, they said, I'm 80. I have $6 million in an IRA, and my RMD is $300,000. What the heck am I supposed to do about my huge tax bill? George, another example of what can happen if you're too successful with your 401k and IRAs.
I guess I can tell this person, whoever this is, that's a first world problem. You did a heck of a job. So let's be happy about this problem we're having.
Nice job.
We have IRMA concerns with Medicare. Great problem to have. We have too much money coming out. Great problem to have. And Roth conversions are a good choice, but not for everybody, Mark. They do not fit everyone's situation because the cost, and it takes time to build that advantage that we can take care. Obviously, this person should have spoken to us 10 years ago, 15 years ago, about doing some conversions, making some tax-free income. Because the way it is today, folks, there's only two ways to get tax-free income. A, life insurance. No, please sit down. Don't jump out of your car with excitement. I know how boring that is. But life insurance. And B, a Roth conversion. But things have to make sense before you can do them. What I would say to this gentleman, this person, A, if he has kids, let's start gifting some qualified distributions out. But also, let's start doing some tax-free income for the kids and using a planning process that we use every day to start passing on some generational wealth to them that they don't have the same problem you have. Think about that. My biggest problem is, what am I going to do with $300,000 this year that I have to take? But we'll help them make those right choices. And when I look at this, you've been a good steward of your money. You did a great job in building your wealth. Congratulations. You should be proud of what you have accomplished. But now, how are your kids going to manage this? Hopefully, they're good stewards of their funds. If we start taking our RMDs out at 73, 74, 80, pay the tax on it, we don't need the money, how are we going to pass that money on to our kids without having problems? We have some plans that we can put in place to help that, some ideas, how to do that for your children. And in our case, Leslie and I, we do that for our grandchild. It's important to make sure that we keep as much of our money in our pocket as humanly and physically possible. It's legal and morally acceptable. I always say, I do not look good in orange. So we make sure we don't break the law. But we can use these funds to pass on wealth to our family. And when you call us at 302-330-2166, we'll help you make those choices. We have a client from Philadelphia right now who's in this similar situation. He has 5 children, and we've worked out a plan how we can start distributing that wealth and passing on wealth to their kids as they get older. Because personally, I'm not giving it any more than I have to the government.
Yeah.
302-330-2166.
So make sure you leave a legacy for your family, not for the IRS. That person, going back to that advice column right there, I'm 80, I have $6 million in an IRA and an RMD, and my RMD is $300,000. At what age should they have started looking at that conversion? Or is age doesn't matter?
It matters. Everything matters because you have to look at what the return on that investment is going to be. So, for example, if you take a Roth and we do $100,000, $500,000 conversion, you never do it all at one time.
Okay.
We do it in stages, okay? B, if in 2017 we had a new tax laws kick in, the Trump era tax plan, which lowered the tax structure drastically. Tax is on sale right now, folks, if you want to think about it. But we still have this extended period. So we do it. Now, if we do it from money within that account, so I take $300,000 and I convert it and take the money out of that $300,000 to convert to a Roth, it's going to take me about 12 years to break even, just mathematically.
Okay.
If I take that $300,000 and write a check for it, it's about 8 years. So we got to look at the time structure here, obviously. I truly believe he should have started this at least in 2017, 2018, when the new taxes kicked in, because you had a big tax break. You have to plan for stuff.
Right.
It's kind of like the horses when they race. They have those blinders on so they can only see what's in front of them. We get so focused on building wealth, paying off our debt, being in the right place. It's a great problem. You're doing a great job, but you need to open up those blinders a little bit. You need to see the other things available. When you call me at 302-330-2166, we're going to talk about that. We give educational seminars. We give dinner seminars. We like to go out in front of people so you can see what we're talking about. And I had a gentleman from last January, so a year ago, reach out. He's coming in the office next week. Him and his wife, and I'll just call them Jim and Sue. Their problem is what you're talking about right now. He is 68 years old. She is 72. I know we have a problem, George. We have too much in our qualified, our 401k, our 403b. My wife has RMDs coming up. I'm going to have them. And what am I going to do about this? How are we going to plan for this? That's what we're talking about. So when you sit there and think it doesn't apply to me, or I can't afford to do it, do me a favor, stop guessing about everything. The worst thing in the world is what happens in your head at nighttime when you sit there, right? Because you start overthinking everything. Instead of the what ifs, I can't, the negativity, come into the office here at 501 Silverside Road. Sit with me. I'll have Ernie, our CPA, come in, and we'll do a tax strategy for you. Let's see how much makes sense to do. Let's see how much it's going to cost us to do it. Let's see where we're going to pay for it, from within or from without. Let's make sure it makes sense for you and your family, because it's about you, isn't it? It's not about someone else. And when you talk about Roth conversions, you talk about how we're going to plan for this. We need to make a logical, educated decision. We are not sitting at the bar with the darts and blindly chucking the dart at the bullseye, thinking you'll hit it. When we meet with clients, and we're meeting with clients that are 62 years old, and we're moving money out of their 401k, converting it to Roth, because it makes sense for them and their situation. It's about you. It's not about anyone else. 302-330-2166.
And when you do that initial portfolio review, George, I know you're always looking at a broad aspect of things of like, how can you put your money back to work for you? How can you keep more of your money? Will you have income that lasts as long as you do? You're also always on the lookout for those absurd fees. Did you see there is a Canadian carrier called WestJet? This airline has now tacked on a new fee. If you want to recline in your chair, they keep your seat locked unless you pay the fee to recline on a flight.
Are you kidding me? I guess the tariffs are really hitting Canada hard, huh? Oh my God.
Now, if you got a trip planned on WestJet anytime soon, it's only a specific couple of flights that they do this. But still, even if they do it on one flight, and if that flight is 15 minutes, that is still absurd. A fee to lean back. What is next? So you find some of these absurd fees in our portfolios that can be just causing more damage than we realize.
Oh, absolutely. And when you have accounts, I'll speak to people, and I don't pay any fees. Well, you don't pay fees because your statement's 42 pages long. You don't see the charges. You don't see the fees involved in that. It really goes, Mark, with the same analogy that people use when they say, I don't want to do annuities, fixed index annuities. I've read about them, I've heard about them, and they're terrible. Mm-hmm. And I find it kind of funny because one of the hidden secrets that BlackRock, we all know who BlackRock is, Fidelity and Vanguard use for their retirement strategies are, guess what? Fixed index annuities. These big boys are using it. We should be using it probably too, I think, for a part of our retirement, a part of our plan for retirement. I do not believe personally in variable annuities. I don't use them. I don't present them, only because that thing you just talked about, fees. Mm-hmm. Fees in variable annuities are between 3 and 7%. That's a lot of money. So if I'm going to have that type of volatility, as I have with a variable annuity, we're going to put that with managed funds with Achilles. Absolutely no ifs, ands, or buts. But those fixed index annuities help us, protect us, allow us to be more diversified with our retirement plan. And guess what? They don't have any fees. Mm-hmm. You get all the safety of the world with none of those fees. And you get to recline your chair at Portrayal Wealth when you come in at no additional cost, which is a big plus. But a lot of times we don't see what the fees are. When you come into the office, we're going to break that down for you and show you what's being charged to you, what you're paying, and how it's affecting your bottom line. Call us at 302-330-2166, and let's make sure we can help you understand. And that's a key word, understand how to read these statements, educate you on how to see what's going on, and help you make the right choices for your retirement future.
George, I said before we got started here this weekend that I'm officially now on the Eagles bandwagon.
Well, you're a bandwagon jumper.
Yeah, 100%.
You are. You know what? I hope your ankle happens the same way the guy from Giants had last week. And I say that mockingly. I watched that game. Leslie and I were watching it, and that play was to watch. And they took off the camera. You know it's bad. It's kind of like Joe Theismann. Remember when we were younger, when Joe Theismann on Monday Night Football, his knee went like a chicken leg.
Yep.
His foot, and they kept showing it over. And Lawrence Taylor was in shock. Mm-hmm. Watching this young man tear his ankle up was brutal.
No,
I don't like him because he didn't wear green, but you love him if he's on your team.
Yep.
He's a hard-hitting guy. He's aggressive. He's hopefully he goes okay. But I'm glad you're on the wagon. I mean, you've told me in the past. Yeah. There's a lot of Georgia boys on this team.
Right. Yes, and
which is a big plus.
Born and raised in Atlanta, and I'm a Falcons fan. But the way this season's going, I'm like, all right.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Who's my backup team? Who's it going to be this year? Because sure as hell ain't going to be the Falcons. Let's go, Eagles. EGLESPRQ ampersand. All right, so listen, I'm
glad you know how to spell. Thank you. Better than the mayor of Philadelphia.
So with that said, the NFL season obviously in full stride right now. Already a bunch of head coaches on the hot seat. And now a lot of that obviously is because a poor start. The Falcons coach is right there. The expectations are high. They don't meet those expectations, losing records, no playoff appearances. But George, for what you do, you're like our coach as well. We look to you for guidance. We look to you to help us run the plays of retirement, if that cliche wasn't cheesy enough. But what if somebody's listening this weekend and they feel like they're not getting the right plays called, and they feel like their coach is not really up to the job? The expectations are high, but they're not really living up to all the hype. So for somebody that's thinking to themselves, maybe it's time to get that second opinion, because my current big box advisor, I'm putting them on the hot seat. What would you tell them?
Come on in. Let's sit down and talk. Because most of the time, these big box advisors, they put you in a couple things. A, you're in a box because you're 60 or 65 years old. This is the right plan for you. And they put you in the assembly line and they slide you down the line. A. B, how many advisors have you had with the big box advisor? Probably a lot. They sit there, as they get bigger, they take away this client, they give it to a junior advisor to handle, because you're not big enough anymore. You're not producing enough for them. And that's the problem. When you come to Portrayal Wealth, we are not a big box provider. We are a boutique office. We do everything those big boxes do, with a couple differences and major differences. One, I think, Mark, and you know this from being to the office at 501 Silverside Road, you're somebody. Mm-hmm. We know your name. We know who you are. We know about your family because you know about our family. B, we build your plans, the Family First Retirement Plan, around you, your wants, needs, and desires. And I always tease with Mark, folks, and I say not everyone's the right fit for every plan. For example, I wear a size 15
Here
shoe,
we go.
and Mark wears a lady size 4.
It's getting worse.
So what's right for me is not right for Mark, and what's right for Mark may not be right for me. So when we talk about your retirement plan, maybe it's different for everybody. I think it is, because we all are different people. We have different wants, needs, desires. We've accumulated a lot of wealth, whether we've accumulated 200,000 or 200 million. Doesn't mean our needs are different. It means we have different wants. And people to think, well, if I have 200 million, I don't have any problems in the world. Guess what? That 80-year-old with 6 million, his problems are the same as we have, just on a bigger scale. So we need to make sure our plans work to accomplish what we want to do. So that's really the difference. When you give us a call at 302-330-2166, we're going to listen to your conversation, what your wants are. And it's really fun. We had a call last week, Mark. Really nice woman. She is from Delaware, and she came into the office, and she spoke with Angie about Medicare. Medicare is open season, folks.
Yep.
We need to get ready for this. A lot of changes, and Angie can address all those issues. 302-330-2166. But she came in, and she called, and she said, I want to come talk about Medicare, but I don't want to talk about my 401k. Is that okay? So I called her back. I talked to Marge. I said, Marge, come in. I'll make the appointment with Angie. We have you scheduled for X. Let's talk about Medicare. Let's take it one step at a time. She came in. She spoke with Achilles about her 401k. She's done a great job on her 401k. She built a great war chest for retirement. I don't want to hear that word bonds. I don't want to hear that word annuities. My advisor I'm currently dealing with is trying to tell me I need these. Okay?
Okay.
There again, we're building a plan around what she wants and desires. And we're going to have a conversation about this, Mark, because that's not the best plan to go forward. But we're here to help build what you want. We give our professional advice. We tell you the pros and cons. We tell you the ups and downs.
Yep.
But we build it for you because you are who we have to satisfy.
That's right.
302-330-2166. Get a chance to meet myself. We'll sit down, have our meeting, go over everything. And I want to hear what you have to say. Because it's funny. You hear me talk every weekend. I don't hear a thing you're saying because you're not here yet. When you come in, it's your turn to do the talking and for me to listen. 302-330-2166.
Insurance and annuities offered through George A. Politarhos, Delaware Insurance License Number 1373121. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties.